Hey, everyone on the planet. That's you too, Donald. I guess you know this too. I hope you do, because I'm aware of it. I got an energetic communication, I guess it was about 5 minutes ago. I put both my arms out and said, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, the light is spinning faster throughout the entire Milky Way galaxy. Yeah, yeah, yeah! We're restoring the light in this galaxy. Not just this planet. That's big news. We're spinning faster. This is for those that... How do you know that? How do you know that's the truth? Oh man, how do you explain that one? I'll ask you a question. How much light are you burning? How much light are you aware of? How big is your cosmos? How much of a part of all there is that is in that light are you a part of? How much are you aware of that is in all that light? That's a question answering a question with another question. Because the answer to that is based on your speed. The speed that you're experiencing everything. Which means you're spinning an enormous amount of data that you become aware of. So when you realize that you're spinning an enormous amount of data that is in that light, you know the source from which that data is coming. Okay? That's how you know the truth. That's how my heart and soul knows the truth. Because I feel it. I experience it. I experience the spin speed in all that light. So I'm experiencing the increase in the speed of the light in this galaxy. That's a great update. That was sort of like when I was on the Big Island a couple years ago. I realized we're getting the grid back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's an energetic communication to let me know these things. That's a measurement of how successful the light is here in this planet. Not just here, okay? All throughout Laniakea. I am what, if you want to, there's some funny names I give myself. Because you can wear a lot of different hats, infinite hats. One time I was listening to a video that was put up and titled by the Palladians about the difference between lack of knowledge, more knowledge, what it means to be a know-it-all. What does it mean to be a know-it-all? I know all the information. Well, how much information is there? How much information can you hold in one now times eternal light? How fast? So I remember I had a beautiful conversation with a girl, okay, up in a campground up on the Tahoe National Forest, deep in the wilderness, where you can go swim in glacier ponds, old glacials. What it is, it's like the place is very old. Some of the water that is there is purer than it is in other places. So you want to feel the purity of that water. That's what it's always about, is the purity of your heart, the purity of your spirit, the purity of the energy. Right? So that was big news for me. Yeah. That's sort of the way that I was experiencing myself as a child when I came in here. And this has a lot to do with learning, by the way. And that has to do with the speed of your frequency to which you are learning through that speed, what that experience is informing you of. Because that's informing you of what you're experiencing, okay? So I get, just like a few minutes ago, I got what I call a signal interruption. So I know where that comes from. Get the fuck out of here. That's what Dan Bolden III will say. Delete, uninstall, take it out of memory. I'm not going to log that. You know where it comes from. So that's why I knew when I was a child, everything is signal communication, you know? Signals intelligence, signal core, intelligence core, gathering the mail, reading the signals, reading the energy. So that's really what it is when you realize that you're essentially a stereo receiver and a stereo transmitter, right? Dialing the frequencies in, okay? Hey, I just picked up a frequency. Well, what channel is it on? Okay? You measure the frequency or the speed of the communication. So you know by being able to translate all the different signals that you thus become aware of who the sender is. Okay? Where's it coming from? So that's what it means to be able to absorb all of the energies, which are all of the communication signals that are going back, So you're in an information soup. Electronic soup. Electronic signals. Signal communications. All the different waveforms that are communicating within an energy field. So the receiver is receiving the communication signal, and we translate it. So anyway, that is very, very big news. That warmed my heart, and I give love to everything in the universe to say thank you very much. That's a measurement. That's a measurement in the universe, in this universe, of the success that the light is having at the moment in which I receive that communication. That's huge. You have no idea how huge that actually is. I do. When you begin to realize, for example, if you get a chance, take the time to go to Project Ascension on YouTube channel with Patty Broussard, Karen Ann Luke McDonald, and I forgot your name, buddy boy, but I love you for who you are, for what you do with your time and space. Energy. To raise the state of awareness. Because Patty Broussard is not going to tell you anything other than what the truth is, because that's what she is. She's the truth. She's telling you the truth. Okay? Naturally, the other side does not want you to know what the truth is. Why is that? Well, that's another question. That's obvious. And that is to keep people running the same program that doesn't serve humanity. That's why sometimes she would mention to me about politics, getting the politics out of this. Politics is conflict. Well, I got this viewpoint, and I got this viewpoint, and I got this viewpoint, and it's always about, this is the way it's got to be. Well, this is the way it's got to be as far as I'm concerned. So everything becomes rule-driven. Rule-driven. And when rule-driven functions, are creating conflict and disharmony amongst everybody that's got an idea on how everything is supposed to be, that's chaos. It's sort of like the way I sort of impart this when I share this with children is, can you just sit out on a beach, on the top of a mountain, in a tree, in a chair, on a sofa, lying on a bed? Think of any place that you can imagine that you're at and just be. And imagine everything else that is in the universe that is out there for us to experience. So I know from my experience, for example, if I experience who I am, which is what love is, then everything else that is outside of what I am, which is the inner me, the spirit that represents what I am, is free to be whatever it wants to be. You can believe in whatever you want to believe in. You can think about whatever you want to think about. You can imagine anything you want to imagine. That's free will. Okay? But there are rules in the cosmos about how energy works. So when you're learning how energy works, how light works, you begin to realize how important it is when you are able to attract more light, when you're a more powerful magnet. And that powerful magnet is your heart. So when you are able to attract more light, your speed, the waveform of what you're experiencing, goes way up. And when the speed of that waveform goes up, and you begin to realize, man, I'm in a timeless state, fear disappears like that. Now you're in eternity. Now you're with us. In living spirit. That's why we use that energy, okay, to celebrate life. Because that's the energy that we use to create it with. So we are celebrating creation. So light is celebrating everything that is in that light. That's a lot of light, ain't it? So when you know that as a child in living spirit, that flame is always lit. So when you are always giving away electrons or giving away high frequency energy at a high rate of speed, you're getting more of what you are to keep your fire, the furnace, fed. So you are self-perpetuating yourself. You are your own energy service provider. You're your own power station. And when you are your own power station, now your imagination kicks in. Now the very energy that you're using to be who you are, because you got so much fire in that furnace that is powering that light, because your waveform frequency communication is running at such a high rate of speed, the rest of the cosmos doesn't have to worry about you. Doesn't have to put up a force shield. Doesn't have to build a weapon system. Now you're moving through the cosmos in spirit, in etheric form, through all the images and all the imagination that you are experiencing and sharing with the rest of the cosmos. Spinning like crazy. Moving as fast as you possibly can. So you want to be moving at the speed at which you can reach the highest speed attainable. And why is that? So you never experience any entropy, any loss of your consciousness, which is everything that is held within all that light. Because anywhere that we become aware that we're losing a part of who we are, we got to restore it. So if we're losing light in one galaxy or losing light in another galaxy, we got to restore it. So we can measure how much light we're losing in every galaxy, and we can measure how much light we're losing in every universe. So it's like being inside of a command station, if you will, and you got all the galaxies lit up, okay? And you can sit there and measure, and the panel is informing you of how much light we're losing everywhere. Because if I become aware that I'm losing some light somewhere in the universe, then I have concern why that's happening. So I become aware of that. But wait a second. If I am what love is in living spirit, and I'm not experiencing anything other than what love is, which is what the light is, then I'm not aware of ever losing a part of what I am, ever. Well, wait a second. I'm in here. I am experiencing entropy here. Oh, but that's got to be an illusion. You're not telling me the universe is losing light, are you? Well, I'm experiencing it here. So is it real or is it not real? Love is what's real, so I'm not losing any light. But I'm aware of other beings that are. And so I'm aware of who they are, and they're aware of who I am, then I'm aware that we are losing light in this universe. So then the first question I got is, at what rate of speed? What is the rate of speed using the exponential function in space-time? So I thought I'll leave you with that to think about, because that's what I think about. That doesn't mean you got to think about it, but I realize that we were losing light. So we got to restore the light wherever we're losing the light. Otherwise, we're losing a part of everything we give love to, aren't we? So when you are deeply empathic, you have an enormous amount of compassion, you have an enormous amount of love in your heart, and you become aware that we're losing light somewhere, we have to restore it, don't we? That's a function. That's a function of the light. That's a function of what love does. Because love is freedom. So when we realize that we're losing light as a result of something that's trying to capture it and control it, that's a violation of free will. That's a no-no. We do not hold energy captive. We don't hold the mind or the free will of another being's mind captive. We don't put things in cages, boxes, in order to harvest its energy. That's what they were doing here, harvesting energy. So it ends here. And we are being very successful at it because there is a lot of light in here. I know that because it gets communicated to me every day how successful we are in restoring what love is in this planet, because I'm experiencing it, and not just here. And that is the good news. That's our update.